Figgy, how are you doing? How are you doing there, Figgy?
I'm doing great, thanks, Mr. Good Striker. How about you? You been busy?
Oh yeah, I've been really busy ever since last March when I kind of left the show, but I'm back.
Yay! All right, that's good. Okay, so we've got a ton of stuff to talk about. We've got to talk about the Occupy, how it went down, how it was brought down, and what else is going to go down, right? I believe you have...
Exactly. There's a whole bunch of things going on globally, and they all relate to each other, and Edmonton is part of it, so we're here.
Yeah, it's exciting, finally.
Exactly.
That's all I could say, is finally. I think I just can't help jumping right in to talk about Attawapaskat, because if that had been the people in Winnipeg freezing, or if it had been a hotel in downtown Calgary that had lost its electricity, or if it had been Toronto facing a terrible snowstorm, the army would have been there.
The armed forces would have showed up. They would have had masses of tents.
They would have had tents.
Everything, ready.
Yeah, but now it's Aboriginal people, so you know what?
Let's put a Band-Aid on it.
Well, let's put a Band-Aid on it, and then let's go and find out what these naughty people have been doing with all that money we've been sending them. Exactly. We're going to find that out before we lift a finger.
Yeah. Well, Indian Affairs, who's going to be the third-party management now, they get $9 billion a year from the government. Indian Affairs. So that's supposed to be for the Indians. But in actuality, $6 billion stays with the department, and $3 billion gets to the 500 First Nations across Canada. That's the reality of what's going on. So it's the bureaucracy that is getting all the cash.
Exactly.
And getting their buildings, their heat, their pensions, their paychecks,
their running perks, water.
All these things, yeah.
I would like every member of Parliament, both in opposition and in the ruling...
reserve.
Yeah. Try waking up in the morning and not being able to brush your teeth in a glass of water. Try finding a toilet that isn't full when you have to pee or poo in the middle of the night. Try and find a blanket that isn't eaten to shreds or occupied by 6 other bodies under it. Do that for a week. See how much you...
Yeah, and they're trying to come up with excuses, of why this isn't working, what has happened. Let's move them all down south. That's like herding the Jews around Europe until they get to a concentration camp. Well, welcome, Canada.
Yeah.
Every reservation in Canada is basically a concentration camp where the culture was they tried to extinguish the culture of the Native Americans in Canada and the United States.
Exactly. And it still goes on, Duane.
It still goes on. That's where we're at.
Exactly.
And Stephen Harper had the nerve to say, there's no colonialism here. We don't have a history of that. What planet does he come from?
Yeah, but you're talking about a man who actually went on national television also and said that Islam is the biggest threat to Canada. Now, you really have to ignore most of what comes out of that man's mouth.
Well, right now we're down in Durban with all the other countries of the world, the United Nations climate change.
Yeah.
Convention on Biological Diversity, Convention of the Parties is actually what the real title is. And it's COP17. And Canada affirmed and signed the Kyoto Accord, but didn't do anything about it in any real sense, except keep going to the United Nations meetings and say, we'll do something about it next year. And here they are now. They're dividing the world again by pulling out of the Kyoto Accord and saying, you guys solved it.
Yeah, because it isn't good time for our bank accounts right now to solve it.
Well, it's not that. It's Canada, especially Alberta, is the dirtiest emitter on the planet.
Yeah.
And if people can point fingers at China and everybody else, but no, Alberta's producing it, Alberta's burning it, and Alberta is exporting it.
Yes.
To other countries to do the exact same thing.
Exactly.
So, you got to really look at it in perspective, especially for us here in Alberta. Who are you? How responsible are you, and what are you going to say to your great-grandkids when the entire planet suffocates?
Exactly.
Everything alive on it, anyway.
Yeah, this is what I don't understand is, okay, so some of you guys out there are really wealthy. Good for you.
The one percenters.
Yeah, okay, and good for you. You guys go ahead, have at or have whatever it is that you need in the material world. But don't destroy the natural world to do it, because the rest of us actually want to live in the natural world.
Yeah, we really don't want to have the Lamborghini. We really don't want to have the 35-room mansion. You know,
no.
that's not real for us.
No, exactly.
Life is real.
Now, if I might take the 35-room bedroom mansion just because, you know, we have rather a lot of friends that need homes, and we have run out of a few bedrooms in cost, so, you know, it would be a riot, wouldn't it? Like, just call the whole fam and, okay, guys, finally. Well, as a matter of fact, why don't we just bring Ottawa, Pascat, the whole civilization down here and plunk them into
a park in the middle of Toronto?
Yeah, or maybe 24 Sussex Drive.
Yeah,
it's nice and warm there.
Hotel Laurier is pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that I know what Hopper and his hooligans want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They want to prevent any real action from being taken. They want to stop any real funds from getting into the hands of people that will do things, and they want to delay until there either is another natural crisis that will distract us, or until they can generate something.
Well, you know, they got shot down on Keystone Pipeline. That one's running from Edmonton down to Texas. And in Texas, there's refineries. And that's basically what they want to do, is sell all the oil to the United States as much as they can, and that's the Heartland Transmission Project, that you need electricity to produce these pipelines to work properly and refine the oil.
Right.
So, you know, and then there's the expansion of the tar sands. So they're all connected. It's the big picture. And who's going to really benefit out of that? The 1%ers.
The 1%.
Right?
Yeah.
And who's going to really feel the effects, the 99%, if things go wrong, and they are going wrong everywhere. So, you know, we're playing a very dangerous game of cat and mouse here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the 99% are the mouse.
Yeah.
But, you know, the mouse can terrify an elephant, so I think we still got a chance.
I think so too, and also the fact that we're not one mouse against one cat. We're actually thousands and thousands of mice against one small segment.
Exactly, and you know, the 99% really made their point over the last 2 months here.
Yeah.
They shook things up so badly, especially, you know, like for even our own city. Somebody asked me, well, what did you guys really achieve? Well, in a nutshell, the mayor had to address the homeless situation, so the city threw $360,000 at a homeless program. And, well, the people of the homeless program, people involved with homelessness. Secondly, the fire department didn't want to put my teepee fire out, because it's my constitutional right and ancestral right to have my own heat in my own teepee. Thirdly, all the police were exposed on what they've been doing regarding their driving habits. 172 car accidents, 158 preventable because the police were driving bad. And then fourthly...
What? Okay, that's something else we're coming back to.
This was in the news last week.
Okay.
And then the media was forced to basically understand that they have to report something.
Yeah.
You know, they have to report something. And of course, the Edmonton Sun, the joke of media in newspapers across Canada, the Edmonton Sun specifically, they tried to turn it on us. But we turned it on them by surviving for a week and a half in minus 30 below.
Yeah.
The traditional way.
Yeah.
In a teepee, right? So, you know, we have the opportunity again, and it will happen again. The Occupy movement is growing very, very much. And if you go to the web, you look anywhere you want to look, you'll find that it is growing, but it's growing for the positive purposes. We've had to go through this birthing stage.
Yeah.
And that's what I call it, the birthing stage.
Yeah.
But we're here now.
Exactly.
You know, we've cut the cord and said, okay, this is what I'm going to do with our lives, the 99%. We're telling the 1%, you've done it your way for X amount of years, but it's our turn now to turn things around.
Yeah.
You know, and Canada is a prime example of that, because one of the first corporations to be created, was the Hudson Bay Company.
Yeah.
Right? And that was the biggest land ripoff of all time.
That, and I think perhaps the only one that would be equal to that is another of Britain's great little spin-offs, the East India Trading Company, because they took...
The real Indians felt it more than us.
Yeah, the ones that you were mistaken for.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, they heard that a few of you got away when the East India Trading Company set up shop, so they had to hightail it over here. Oh, my goodness. Oh, dear. Okay, well, so... to me, it's really an exciting... to me, the whole Occupy thing was tremendously exciting. I'll be honest, I did not get down there.
Well, when it first started here, October 15th, there was over 1,000 people.
Oh, awesome.
And the diversity of the group was incredible to me. There was old people, there was middle-aged people, there was young people, there was children, there was Indians, there was blacks, there was Asians, and there was a lot of Caucasians, right? But the diversity of the community responded to what was going on Wall Street. The rage of the bankers, the brokers, the politicians, and the corporations, all in cahoots to create this 1%. And it was basically a wake-up call to the world. And the world responded. We're awake.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue because we're doing it in a way that they don't like, especially don't like, peaceful and passive. Mm-hmm. To say, I have a right to life. Yeah. I have a right to have a roof over my head. I have a right to employment. I have a right to share the resources of the earth sustainably.
Sustainably, exactly.
So our next generations will be here to look back and say, in history, Wall Street started the big, real revolution of humankind. Mm-hmm. That's my perspective. I'm just an Indian, but I've been around and I know what I see. And everybody else is realizing that is what's going on. Right. Even the celebrities, right? Even the pundits, even the comedians, even the politicians, even the priests. They all realize this is not going away and it's going to get bigger. We might have winter right now. We might have occupied cities being shut down. But all it's going to do is like you kill one spider, 10 more are going to show up.
Yeah. And actually,